All right. Nick's been at the East-West Shrine Bowl practices the last 3 days. He's going to get on a plane to Mobile in a few hours, go check out the Senior Bowl. But, Nick, give us I want to go through some of your favorite guys. Inform us what you've seen the last 3 days down there in Frisco, Texas. Who are some of these prospects we should be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I'm going to direct all Bears fans to go watch some South Dakota State tape right now, and you got to watch Mason McCormick. He's a 6'4", 310-pound offensive lineman, you guys. He brings a nasty. He's been really competitive in the one-on-one drills. Today I was watching him. He played both guard spots, played a little bit of center. He did that in team drills, also in one-on-ones, and I got a chance to talk to him after practice. And I asked him for, people who haven't seen your film, how would you describe it? He said he just plays with an edge, and he says once he gets in between the lines, it's kill or be killed. So I know Bears fans are going to love seeing a guy like that, but he's been killing it here at the East-West Shrine Bowl practices. But Mason McCormick's one of the guys that I think a lot of Bears fans should start to familiarize themselves with.
And Hoge, as you know, this was also a track and field athlete in high school, and he threw discus. Did you?
He throws what?
It's called the discus.
Okay.
He placed fifth in the shot put in the AA. That's right, buddy. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing research.
I was going to say, there's no way that Mason McCormick has his own Wikipedia page. This is next level Carm.
I'm actually using Google and not Wiki.
You throw out McCormick, and I instantly, I go right to the personal part, and what's the history?
Is he
and
part
let's
of
go.
the Spice family?
I haven't gotten there yet. I can't, in 1 second.
McCormick Spices?
What about the McCormick Place?
Or McCormick Place?
Descendant.
His major was construction management, which means he could be very involved with Kevin Warren and what's going on, and that's why they should be looking at Mason McCormick.
Okay.
The Mason. Bricklaying Mason.
Back to Nick for the real football information. Who was your number 2 prospect for us?
Yeah, and this is a guy that I highlighted when we were at Midtown Athletic Club. It's Malik Washington from Virginia, you guys. He was somebody – he led the FBS in receptions last season. He's not the big wide receiver.
No,
he's not the big guy.
I know.
5'8", 192.
Dude, Malik Washington has been on my Northwestern Wildcat pregame show. I love Malik.
Okay, I'm just making sure you weren't Googling him. Sorry, Nick. Didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah. Malik Washington was at Northwestern, transferred to Virginia.
Had a huge year.
Yep. Yeah. So he's been translating what he was able to do in his last couple years at Virginia here at the East-West Shrine Bowl practices. But when you see him too, Mark, and you, like you said, you've had him on your show, like he's a bit stockier and, pretty, again, not the tallest guy, but he's stocky. And I think he can live in the slot. He was able to do that throughout the 3 practices I was able to watch, can move in space, make some contested catches despite only being, they have him listed at 5'8", 192, but there was no problem with him trying to go high point of football and just create separation. So Malik Washington, the Bears need playmakers, and they can come in all different shapes and sizes, but that was a guy that was able to just win consistently in his one-on-ones and also in the team period.
Yeah, I mean, he's super fast, but he's also 5'8", as you're underlining. So this would be a gadget guy, but it's an interesting guy.
I wasn't surprised to see him take off in Virginia because I remember I was still doing sidelines when he showed up at Northwestern, and he was small, but it was like
he's ripped.
This should be a weapon that they could get the ball to, pretty quickly, and it just never really materialized consistently to see him transfer and then have a big year. I was not surprised by that. So intriguing player, but definitely on the smaller side. Has some toughness to him though, for sure.
Yes.
Who's next?
Yeah, someone who's not small, you guys, is Miles Murphy, the defensive lineman from the North Carolina, 6'3", 312 pounds. I asked Mason McCormick who his best matchup has been so far in this East-West Shrine Bowl practices. He said Miles Murphy. He just pointed to his strength, and that's what shows up. When he gets low out of his stance, he's able to just, power guys back, and you can see that consistently with him. So I think Miles Murphy is a guy that made the most of his opportunities, was able to kind of just make those one-on-ones and show, his strength is something that can translate to the NFL level. But when he gets low, that's the thing, because there are some inconsistencies with that, but he's a very strong player and somebody that really showed out in these first 3 practices.
That was a huge get for Carolina back in the day. He was a 4-star recruit. The Tar Heels, not exactly your home for 4-star recruits, but So this guy likes to. I mean, I'll just tell you right now, Myles Murphy is somebody that likes to elevate teams and come from the bottom, which is why I love him as a potential Chicago Bear, lifting up this 7-10 team to the next level. I'm a big fan of Myles Murphy.
I know nothing about him. That's why Nick's here.
He's a Tar Heel, man. MJ.
By the way, Nick's dumping all this information into our Bears 100 database, so
Not
another
MT.
reason to be a diehard as we get through all these prospects. All right, what have we done? 3 so far? You got 2 more for us?
Got 2 more, you guys. I'm going to go back. Another defensive lineman I thought did some pretty good things. It's Fabian Love from Florida State. He's 6'3", 307. The very first play from the team practice on day 2, he literally bypasses one of the guards. And then I think he forgot that you're not technically allowed to tackle in this period yet, but he just threw down the running back. But he's a guy that does show that consistent explosion and is able to get in the backfield, plays a good strength. I like his length. And, Fabian Love is a guy that, I think he has a little bit of versatility too, because they were lining him up on, both interior positions. I saw him one time at an end position. So Lovett is another guy that if you're looking for defensive lineman help, he's somebody that can provide that.
Not a huge fan on Fabian because he,
you don't like his tape?
Not really. Well, it's more his process. The guy went to Mississippi State first and didn't go the way he wanted to jump ship. Next thing you know, he's going to Florida State. I like guys who are, that they're in the trenches with you and they're not going to leave. Fabian, I mean, I get that Nick's seen the talent, but
Mike Leach died? Is that the reason he left?
Also, didn't we just talk about Malik Washington?
Yeah, but that was different because
he was a cat.
Yes. I'm biased towards Northwestern, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Although I hated that greatly, because why would you ever leave Northwestern? That's a terrible choice.
Great logic. All right, Nick, number 5.
Yeah, number 5 is actually a guy that I think Bears fans are already familiar with. I spoke to Taj Washington earlier in the week, but I hadn't seen him practice at that point. Now I have seen 3 practices with him. He is on the smaller side, wide receiver from USC, 5'9", 177, but He was consistently creating separation from the slot outside. He can win his one-on-one routes. But where I think he impressed me the most, and I think you would appreciate this, Adam, is just him as a gunner. Like, there are guys in some of those drills that are kind of half-assing the reps. I'm not going to lie. They're kind of going with the motion. Taj is making the opposition get a full rep to, just by going 100%. So I like the effort that he plays with. He was making some contested catches as well. So despite not having that height, the guy was just making plays, creating separation. He comes back to the football as well. There are a couple plays during team period where he's got a DB draped all over him, but because he's able to come back to the football, he's able to make the reception. So I really liked what I saw from him. But that little extra things that I saw just on the special team drills, like that goes a long way, showing that he's willing to, be a gunner. And also he was playing, he was blocking the gunners as well too. So he's doing a little bit of everything. But Taj Washington from USC is going to be my 5th player to highlight here.
Nick, do you like ramen?
What?
Okay.
Chicken and shrimp Alfredo?
This better be good because I have 3 serious questions.
This is very good.
Okay.
Well, what about a smothered pork chop? Would you eat that?
Yeah, I'd eat that.
Whataburger patty melt. Your guy Taj has got his own YouTube cooking channel.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what he talked about.
Wow.
Yeah.
No huddle kitchen.
Ooh.
So this dude can cook it up and play the football. I like him. Let's go.
I did notice, Nick, I don't know if you saw this, but we're officially allowed to say Caleb Williams on the rest of the show now that we're done with our Justin Fields segment. I saw Caleb retweeting highlights from his teammates at USC over the weekend. Mm-hmm. Some of the East-West stuff and shouting them out, celebrating them. And you had a chance. You mentioned talking to Taj. You had a chance to talk to some of these guys. What were your takeaways from, what you've learned about Caleb Williams while you've been down there in Frisco?
Yeah, talking to some of his teammates, whether they were on offense or even some of the defensive players, they only had good things to say about Caleb Williams and, to be expected. But, I just kind of wanted to see what he was like even off the field. And I forgot exactly who said, maybe it was Solomon, the defensive lineman for USC. But, if you didn't know Caleb Williams' face, you would just think he would be like any one of the other guys. He doesn't, hold himself to this higher standard. Maybe that's what is perceived on the outside, but a lot of the guys respected him. They said he's a hell of a practice player as well. They were saying that all those plays that you see in the game, you should see him in practice, some of the crazy throws he's able to make. So that's just from his teammates. But the opposition that have played him, I got a chance to interview a couple of defensive linemen, and some guys were just in awe of like how he's able to throw the football. One of the defensive players from Washington said he just has a very unique way of seeing the field. And even though Washington ended up beating USC in that game, you know, there were a lot of times where those players are coming off to the sideline like, man, he's got bigger legs than I thought he had. So I think there are a lot of these, whether teammates, the opponents that play Caleb Williams, they have nothing but respect for the guy because he can absolutely ball. So I think that was insightful. And actually, you can go to allchgo.com and check out the article that I have on that. There's also articles from day 2 of practice, and I'll get to work in here as I'm traveling to Mobile, Alabama, working on day 3 practice takeaways.
Nick, I'm sorry. Nick, start asking people, what can't Caleb do? What do you not like about him? Try to get some dirt.
Okay. I like that.
You didn't like that one, Hoge?
I don't know. It felt like that could have been a text message.
We're talking about his communications. Let's see if we can dig up some dirt.
Obviously, Richard Hightower, one of the head coaches down there, Borgonzi's coaching. What have you seen? What have you observed? What are Bears coaching takeaways from this weekend?
Yeah, so just watching the East team, which is where Borgonzi and Hightower are on, if you've been to a Bears training camp practice, it looks very similar to that, how they kind of operate with some of the one-on-ones, the team periods, and how they're kind of going at this fast pace that they practice at. So a lot of that, I think Hightower is able to take from, you know, just obviously being with the Bears and take this to all these different, college players. So I've liked if I were to compare the two as well, I just think that we're getting more, I don't know if it's like highlight plays, but we're just seeing more out of the East team in terms of passing plays and just what you want to see, just to get more out of the college players that are here. So I think Hightower's doing a phenomenal job with how he's running the practices, and you're just seeing a lot of these players, I think, make the most of it. But yeah, it looks and feels very similar to a Bears training camp practice.
What are you most looking forward to heading to Mobile, and what are you going to be focused on at the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good players down there, more players that have obviously played with or against Caleb Williams, so kind of getting their perspective on things. But, you know, there's some good centers down there in Mobile, and Jim Dre, the tight ends coach, is going to be coaching the offensive line, so getting his, just his perspective on things, but just seeing, just a lot more playmakers that the Bears can add. There are also some bigger wide receivers down there. I know I highlighted some smaller guys here at the Shrine Bowl, but they have some pretty big receivers that can absolutely fly. So I'm really looking forward to going down and seeing what they can do there.
A lot of depth in that receiver class, Nicholas Moreano. And I don't need to tell you that, but let's why don't you find out who we really like and get that to Ryan Poles, because he has not hit on a mid round wide receiver yet. So maybe this is the year. That would be
like that, Mark.
Huge.
Yeah, they obviously could use that. Nick, really good stuff. He's been Ryan Poles sightings down there, Ian Cunningham sightings. I'm sure. I like how they did this year. You can go. First of all, the Star. I haven't been to the Star. I want to go there, but it seemed like a great, perfect venue for this. And then
you got to get a latte at Ascension Coffee right across the street, basically 100 yards in front of him.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. No, straight ahead there, down there.
Oh, okay. They have a CityWorks right there.
Ascension, yeah, it's just past CityWorks. Enjoy.
Oh, okay.
I normally can't keep my eyes off of Nick when he's on the screen, but the video screen behind you, there was like a beach scene going on a second ago.
I'm guessing it was Cowboys cheerleaders on a vacation.
Yeah, I mean it's been quite the.
Some of it probably copyrighted, which we maybe shouldn't be showing too much, but
these things happen.
We're fine. We're
there
still
you
on
go,
the
Nick. Whatever your setup is down there, you're doing a great job. I'd love to go run some sprints right now.
I've actually stayed that building behind him. That's the Omni at the Star. There, I've been there. It's a nice place.
That place
I actually
looks fancy.
rode the elevator with Dave Wanstedt once in that down there.
wow.
Wani.
I mean, there's few people in the world I want to be in an elevator with, other than
Only 3 floors though. It's nobody's
he's the greatest.
I
can't believe the law just dropped off that he stayed at that Omni.
It was for work. I was down there for I believe Big 12 Media Day. Might have been some other, maybe Conference USA Media Day. I don't know.
all right, Nick,
we
good
lost
stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Follow him on. I think you just hung up on him.
Good job.
Follow Nick on
do
Twitter
it like that every time.
at Nicholas Moreano.
We all silly like the mayor.